Hi everyone. So this is a screencast for those students in the class of 2021 here at Kingsthorpe College. So students in year 11 and students in year 13 with regards to your exams and what that might look like for the remainder of the year. I hope you had a chance to read the letter that I sent out with some communication from Mrs. Giovanelli just over a week ago now, following the announcement that students would be having teacher assessed grades instead of their exam grades. So I just want to be really clear and to reassure you that we have gone through this process obviously last year. Whilst the process this year is going to be set out differently, I just want to again make it really clear that the teacher assessed grades that we will be awarding students are going to be fair, they are going to be robust, we will be following all the guidance given to us from Ofqual, that will be using a range of evidence, but that will include assessments that students will need to take at the end of the year, and that we will be keeping records of all of the evidence that we use to make sure that this process is undertaken as fairly as possible and that supports all of our students in getting to the right stage of their education, whether that's at post-16 or whether that's going on to higher education. I want to start just by outlining a timeline of what we are planning for students in years 11 and 13 over the next few terms. So in term 3, which is where we're currently at, our main focus is going to be on online learning and teaching and ensuring that our year 11 and year 13 students are engaging in that, because it's really important to us that students continue to finish their courses, that they are not disadvantaged by not being in school, and they do have the opportunity to learn all of the content that they need to. We have decided to continue with our walking talking mock programme. In previous years this would have been trial exams, and that would have given the students opportunity to practice their exam technique. Because we recognise that students are obviously working from home at the moment, I don't think it would have been fair for us to continue with the trial exams as we had originally intended, but that the opportunity for exam practice for our students in years 11 and 13 was still incredibly important. So whilst we've stuck to the timeline, we have adapted our approach, and so these are now going to be run as walking talking mocks, where our teachers will provide guidance for the students to complete them at home. We will be obviously collecting these back in so that as teachers we can see the work that the students have done, but again the point of this really is that students have the opportunity for exam practice, and that teachers can guide students through those exams rather than them being the trial exams that we would have done previously. In term 4 then, we are planning to be assessing students, so term 4 running from February half term through until Easter. So our teachers are going to be working with their teams within their subjects to plan for assessments. Now in term 4, because we don't know what's going to be happening with the lockdown just yet, we're actually planning for these to be either online or in school. And then for term 5, which is from Easter through to May half term, we are planning for our assessments to be in school. So that's what we are hoping for, that from Easter until May half term that we will be in school, and that we are able to plan for that eventuality. So students in years 11 and 13 can expect to be taking assessments in the last 2 terms. In terms of key dates for these walking talking mocks and assessments, we know that year 13s are starting on Monday the 25th of January, and that will run for 1 week through to Friday the 29th. Year 11 will start their walking talking mocks in their core subjects in English, Maths and Science on Friday the 5th of February, and that will run through to Friday the 12th of February. A timetable will be sent out for those. And then option subjects will begin the week after half term, and they will run from Monday the 22nd of February to Friday the 26th of February. Any resources that you need on as a paper-based resource will be brought to you, and then we will be running some of the exams online, so there will be a combination there as to whether the exam will be completed on paper or online. Any walking talking mock that's completed on paper, we will be issuing students with self-addressed envelopes so they can post those back to us. The second part of this presentation is to talk you through now the consultation that the Department for Education and Ofqual have issued, which is to consult with students, parents and teachers on how GCSE, AS and A-level grades should be awarded in the summer of 2021. So first of all, why the consultation? Well, the consultation is important that we all have the opportunity to read this document and we can understand the thinking that the Department for Education are going through at the moment, and also that we have the opportunity to have our say. And that is the thing that is most important to me. I want all of the Kingsthorpe College community to understand that you have the opportunity to respond to this consultation. So there will be some questions directed for students, for parents, for teachers on how you feel about the proposals that they are going to make for summer 2021 cancelled exams. In terms of how, there will be a link sent out to you with this screencast that you can click onto in order to respond to the consultation. So when you go on to the consultation, there are two options. You can read the document, and it's quite a lengthy document, so that's part of the reason as to why I've put this screencast together, to give you the highlights, and then you can respond to the consultation, or you can just not read the consultation and respond to the questions anyway. So we would really encourage for students and parents to make sure that you get your voice heard and to respond to that. And we as teachers will also be responding to the consultation. And then in terms of what that will look like, it will just be a series of questions that will ask you how you feel about some of the key points that they have set out in the consultation that you will just need to respond to in the online form. So in terms of the proposals, first of all, I want to give you a quick run through of how the Department for Education are proposing the grades will be determined. So they are proposing that grades this year should be based on teachers' assessments, and that will be based on evidence of the standard at which our students are performing. And that should indicate demonstrated knowledge, understanding and skills. We know that they are proposing teachers should assess students on the areas of content that they have covered and that they can demonstrate their ability, but also whilst ensuring that we've covered sufficient breadth of content coverage so that progression isn't limited at the next stage. Teachers could be able to use evidence of the standard of students' performance from throughout their course, and that might include any non-examined assessments. NEAs stand for non-examined assessments. And then finally, a breadth of evidence should inform a teacher's assessment of their students' deserved grade. So the next proposal is with regards to how will grades be standardised within and across institutions. So the main idea here is that exam boards could provide papers which teachers can use to assess their students. The consultation is asking whether these would be optional or mandatory. The papers would be marked by teachers. Exam boards would sample the teachers' marking to make sure that they are quality assured and that teachers across different institutions are marking in the same way to the same standard. And then the set of papers provided would possibly have an element of choice so that teachers can choose the topics that they know the students could answer questions to. And finally, that teachers would need to record the evidence on which they base their decision for each student. The next proposal is with regards to the use of non-exam assessments, NEAs. So we know that teachers should take account of the standard of the student's non-exam assessment in their final assessment for any courses where NEAs are applicable. If students haven't been able to complete their NEA whilst they were in school, they shouldn't be penalised for that if it's a reason beyond their control. And we know that teachers will be marking non-exam assessments as part of this proposal, and that exam boards should not be required to moderate their marking. So there will be some proposals set out around that we can respond to. In terms of the use of other performance evidence, if teachers do not use the exam board set papers, or even if they do, teachers would be able to use additional evidence to assess students and to gather evidence of the standard at which they're performing. If teachers decide to devise their own assessments, they would need to be comparable in demand to the papers provided by the exam boards. And also that teacher-devised assessments used to support the final assessment should be used at the same time as the exam board papers would be taken. So I'm going to discuss a bit about the timeline in the slide coming up. The proposal suggests that other sources of performance evidence could include formal tests, any mock examination results, and any substantial candidate work. So that would mean work that relates to the qualification that's been completed without any support or help that students have completed throughout the year. In terms of appeals, the proposal states that teachers should not be telling students the grades that they have submitted to the exam boards on their behalf. And then once the results have been issued, a student who believes their teacher has made an error when they assess their performance in 2021 should be able to appeal to their school or college on that basis. And an appeal process should include a review of any marked papers, a review of any NEAs, and a review of any other evidence used to support the submitted grade decision. So any appeal process would include a review of the evidence that the teachers have. So that is just really important to note that, again, all teacher assessed grades need to be completed based on evidence, and a review would need to look at that evidence. The outcome of the teacher assessment would only be changed then if the person undertaking the appeal found that the outcome was not legitimate, so that the evidence did actually support a different grade. A student should also be able to appeal further to the exam board. So that would be on the grounds that the college had not acted in line with the exam board's procedural requirements. So I mentioned the proposed timeline. So the consultation does set out a timeline in terms that from January through to May, students will continue their academic subjects. In May, between May and early June, teachers would make their final assessments about students' performance. So this is at a similar time to when the exams would have been. From early to mid-June then the papers would be marked, and like I said earlier, the papers would be marked by teachers. There would be an internal quality assurance process, and the grade evidence would be organised and recorded. In mid-June the grades would then be submitted to the exam boards by the school, and later on in June external quality assurance by the exam boards would continue. In early July, so earlier than usual, the results would be released to students. So we know usually GCSE and A-level results would be released in August, but the proposed timeline is stating early July, so that then July onwards is the opportunity for the appeals process to take place. So hopefully then that would be completed by the time September comes, so that students can get on to their next pathways. So I do just want to finish by saying to the class of 2021 that whatever you need from us during these last few months, please let us know and we are here to help you. With regards to the consultation, please do take a moment out of your day to click on the link and respond and to make your voice heard. It's really important to me that here at Kingthorpe College we do take that opportunity to respond to the proposals so that we are contributing to getting the best outcome for our students in what has been a difficult year. So thank you so much to everyone for what they're doing to support our students, what parents are doing to support their children at home. It really does make all the difference, and we look forward to seeing you back here in college very soon.